Hey, and welcome to this week's episode. So this week we're going to talk about, I'm going to share with you 5 tips to hiring an editor. So you can take all that load of editing that's sitting on your computer and give it away to your editor and get them to deal with it. So tip number 1 is, first of all, where do you actually begin to actually find an editor that's going to understand you personally, your business, your style of images, especially newborn images. We all have our certain style and way of editing. So where I would start is look around your community, online specifically. So you must be a part of a lot of Facebook groups and follow a lot of photographers. You can even ask photographers you love and you actually look for inspiration. Do they edit their images? They might even offer a service where they edit other newborn photographer images as well, because I've come across them a lot online. If you're on Instagram, you probably get a lot of companies that have freelance editing and they might offer you. Try them as well. Facebook communities are loaded with people that have gone from photographing babies and newborn to actually becoming full-time editors. I know my editor started photographing babies as well, and now she's a full-time editor. So it's really understanding where to look first, ask a few places, and then I'm going to go on to tip number 2 and I'm going to explain what to do there. So tip number 2 is to ask for examples. So now that you've looked around and you've found 1 or 2 editors that maybe were photographers that you like, or you sort of sense that it might work, ask them for examples. By that I mean send them at least 2 to 3 images of your own, unedited, and get them to have a look at your work and ask them to do an edit for you and get them to send them back. Now this is how I hired, and I went through a few editors until I found one that we really worked well together. Once you like someone, then maybe work with them for a while before you fully commit to them as well. So asking for examples really helps you understand if that editor is pretty much on the same track as you, or maybe if they're not, give them a second chance, and if you find that it's not working, just go on to the next person. So tip number 3 is try and find editors that specialize in newborn retouching and editing, because that will take half the work off, trying to actually find an editor. So don't go looking for editors that do a lot of, architectural graphics or, magazine editing or anything like that. Try and be specific when you're doing your search that you need someone that does family, especially around baby photography if you are a newborn photographer, because that will help them familiarize themselves with your work as well, and they'll be very, they've worked on a lot of projects previously, and that will cut half your time and your effort going back and forth with them as well. Tip number 4 is show them your work first before you decide to actually, send them any examples. By this I mean send them your links. So now that you found 2 or 3 photographers you might be able to work with, send them your website link, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it is you put your images, and show them that this is the style of your work and you don't want it to change. Can they do something like that? Then from there, if they can, that's when you want to send them examples for them to actually sit and edit them for you. Tip number 5, and the last one, the most obvious one, if they aren't a fit, just find another editor. So if you've gone, say, through 3 or 4 and you've sent them work and they've edited and it's just not, working, I don't give up easily, so I will send them, or I will give them feedback and get them to re-edit it. If over 2 or 3 times it's just not working, that's when I'll move on. So whenever you feel like it's just not going to work, it's okay. Just tell them, look, it's not going to work, move on and find another one. Simple as that. But trust me, the effort is worth it, because once you find your editor, that's it. They're going to take a whole load off you, just like my editor has. So that's it for this week's episode. If you have any questions, pop them below. And before you leave, if you haven't already, head on over to thephotographersociety.com where you can download my free newborn session guide, and go and follow me over on Instagram, where I'm mainly always active on there, and you can send me a DM if you have any question, if that's the way you prefer it. So you can find me over at Photography by Rochelle. So I really hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Until next week, take care.